Dear friends and followers, welcome back to my channel and lovely greetings from my parents' kitchen. It's the 1 minute debrief. Give me 1 minute to debrief an airplane incident, accident, and I need to be quick because my parents need this kitchen. So let's get started.
Runway 415, I appreciate the taxiing exuberance. It's not necessary.
Okay, fighter jet. Yes. Okay, this is the so-called Runway Arrestor gear system. Now, a lot of you guys probably noticed from aircraft carriers where fighter jets come in and then they have this tail hook at the back of the plane that hooks into the arrestor, into this cable, and then it gets slowed down or decelerated to not fall off the back of the aircraft carrier. So these sometimes can be found at commercial and military airports. Obviously, they're only built for the military aircraft, the fighter jets and so far. And this is a great way for young fighter cadets to actually train this landing on the aircraft carrier, or at least this deceleration by the arresting system. And sometimes you can see a mention in the briefing charts that this arrestor system is put in place, but obviously for commercial aircraft, the touchdown zone is beyond that cable, that obviously the landing gear does not somehow get tangled in that cable. So this video just shows that the system is not only installed on aircraft carriers, but also at commercial and military airports. What is happening? No way! What? That is epic! No way. And then he's gonna land it. How cool. Fantastic, a human-powered sort of lift. This is fantastic. This is like a human-powered winch where glider planes very often get pulled up by a winch, but this is like humanly powered, or people just pulling on it. And obviously you can see that this plane is super lightweight. I mean, I guess in total it's going to be somewhere at 120, 140 kilos maximum with the pilot on board. But how cool. I mean, yeah, it had a bit of a downslope to obviously make it a little bit easier for these guys. Just judging by the weather, it wasn't obviously very hot that day, so there weren't any thermals. If there would have been nice thermals, I'm sure this plane could have flown a little bit further. But how cool, you know, meet up with your mates and just tow a plane. Love it. What is happening? No way. Are they on the runway? Oh my god, they're on the runway. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Fantastic. Okay, yes, a bird on a bird, more or less. You could say that. Wildlife animal interfering with airplanes. I guess it happens every day. What I really like in this video is that the colleagues did not advance the thrust levers and just sort of scare the bird away, because that could have turned into something quite nasty. The bird might have then took off and then, you know, flew to the back of the plane, and then you have the engines at full takeoff power, so there's a lot of suction, and they could have then sucked in this eagle, I think it was, into the engine and damaged the engine. They could have turned on the windscreen wiper to sort of scare the bird away, but maybe the colleagues were a little bit too worried that his sort of feet or claws could have gotten caught under the windscreen wiper and maybe cause even some damage to the plane and obviously the bird. So really nice gesture here that they waited for somebody to come around to scare the bird away in an orderly fashion, let's put it that way. Cool, love it. Oh boy. Hey. Nice. Okay, good. Welcome to Africa, I guess. Yes, again, another video where we are interfering with wildlife. I mean, this is like proper wildlife now in Africa. I know, because a very good friend of mine is a pilot in Africa, a lot of the times they actually have to do low approaches over the runway to actually scare away the animals, because they've been sitting there and resting on the warm tarmac, and then once they sort of startle them and they all move aside, they then come in for a landing. But obviously animals at one point come back because they like, you know, the open space and just sort of chill out on the tarmac. And I guess this cheetah here was one of those animals. I guess this fighter jet just took a little bit too long to turn around. And yeah, there was a close encounter. But I guess this is just how it is in Africa, or you know, at airports that are super remote. All right. Oh, the Transal. Oh yes, yes. Holy cow. Look at it coming down. I'm loving it. And initiating the flare. And touchdown. Wow, even a really nice landing. Fantastic. What we see here has various names. In this video they title it the Sarajevo approach. I've heard the Kosovo approach, I've heard the Afghanistan approach. Why do they do that? It is primarily to actually avoid enemy fire that could be going on prior or near the runway or airport area. And the technique is quite cool actually. I have to admit that I've done it myself. Let's look at the video one more time. Now at this moment right here, the plane is in landing configuration. What does that mean? The flaps are extended and the gear is out. Now as the plane goes into a nosedive, the consequence of that would be that the plane accelerates. What goes down gets faster at one point. Now the pilots can apply a very simple trick to avoid that. Now when you retard the thrust lever to idle, there's a bit of a gap where you can put the plane into beta, and then over beta you go into reverse thrust. Now as you go into beta, the propeller blades turn perpendicular to your flight path, to your forward motion. That means your 2.5 meter diameter propeller turns into a massive disc that is creating so much drag that you are not getting any faster. It's not reverse thrust, it is just a massive disc, and that allows the plane to go into this nosedive without accelerating. Obviously just prior landing they have to get out of beta again, that in case they need to go around or whatever, that they can apply full thrust. Now you might question, how do I know that? Now when I was working on the Pilatus Porter for the skydiving company, we also did that. You went into this nosedive to catch up with your skydivers, but at a certain point obviously the plane got faster and faster, and to avoid that we also had beta range, and the Pilatus Porter has a massive propeller, and then you would literally put your nose onto propeller and you wouldn't get any faster. It's a fantastic technique. Is that a mechanic? What? Oh, it's a police officer. What? Mate, what are you doing? Oh my god. Get rid of his shoes. What are you doing? Oh, what a muppet, honestly. Okay. Okay, very strange. So what I can derive from this video is that this man is trying to show us how tall a 737 winglet is. Sorry, what? I don't know. How did he even get there? Did he go through the emergency exit or whatever? Is it Alaskan? I'm sure they got it solved. Oh, left main wheel missing. Okay.
Okay, you can cut off everything.
Okay.
Cut off.
Oh, he's touched down.
Come to my side.
Oh, nice. Well done. Ah, fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, get out.
Come to a stop. Oh, he even turned off. Fantastic. Ah, loving it. That is a good video. Holy moly. Let's look at this video one more time, and there's some really nice details we can pick up on this. Now we're flying a Piper Cadet or Archer, and they have lost their left-hand wheel or tire of the main landing gear. It is a fixed gear, it's not a retractable gear. So there's a bit of a stump still looking out, right? Now, the first thing that catches your eye is probably the door, that the door is open. Why is the door open? This is so clever, it's so smart. the door is open because the pilot was worried in case they crash somehow that the airframe could sort of, twist and then the door might be jammed and you can't get out. Now this is super dangerous because you have a missing landing gear which will then create sparks on the tarmac right above a fuel tank that could ignite and the whole plane then sits on fire and you can't get out. That is like the worst death ever. As they come down and touch down, you can hear the pilot tell his flight student actually that he shall cut off everything. And what he does, he's actually reaching down to turn the fuel selector switch to off. The engine won't shut down immediately because there's still fuel obviously in the fuel lines. And then he tells his flight student to lean over to his side.
Come to my side.
Why is he doing that? Because he wants him to shift all the way to the right-hand side to keep the left-hand side or the gear in the air as long as possible. Really good, really good. Then you can see the pilot that he's cutting off the mixture. I mean, he's not going to perform a go-around anymore now. I mean, they're touched down. I mean, they've got miles of runway ahead of them. And so he's cutting off the engine effectively to not damage the propeller in case they sort of tip over. He's obviously holding the aileron at full right rudder and trying to increase the lift on the left-hand side to, put all the weight on the right-hand side. You can hear a bit of skidding on the runway.
Okay, get out.
He's telling his flight student to get out, so to unbuckle. And look at that. He even has the time to retract the flaps. The flap lever is like a handbrake lever in the Piper. Why is he doing that? I'll show you in a minute. And he's turning off the electrics. Whatever could happen, that there's no sparks of electricity, etc., that could ignite some fuel that could have been leaking. You name it. He's just so smart. Love it. Really cool. And then they get out, close the door. Good. Okay, the one thing about the flap lever was that the flaps, when they are extended, I think his thought about that was that he didn't want the plane to be sitting on the flaps, that they could be damaged. They weren't effectively. The flaps can be extended, although the plane is leaning onto that one wing. It turned out that the plane was partially damaged. Only the wing didn't scrape the ground. Only that sort of stump of the landing gear was on the ground, and the rest was totally fine. Then they put the plane on some like pallets and then just dragged it to the general aviation. This video is really cool. You can learn so much from this video. So hats off to these two pilots. Fantastic effort to save the plane, save their lives obviously. That's a great training video right there. Okay, I've debriefed it a little bit longer because it's really good. Alright, 727. Wait, what's happening here? Or is it drooling fuel? What? Uh-huh. And they're taking off. Okay, good. Alright. Well, it is a cargo plane. Okay. My immediate thought is the plane is fully fueled. It's got too much fuel on board. The fuel was probably cold as it was being refueled into the plane. Then it was, let's say, somewhat hot day. The fuel then sort of starts expanding, so it needs more space than the fuel tanks have, or volume-wise have. And then there's a sort of like a pressure release valve at the far outer side of the wing. Then that just opened and the fuel just starts leaking out. Not so great, because now your fuel predictions might be a little bit off. Would I have taken off like that? No, because I obviously want to make sure that the valve closes again, that it's not leaking the whole time. But yeah, they did it nevertheless. All right, that's a nice little citation. Oh, what's going on here? Ah, aha! Someone did not close the fuel cap properly. Oh god. Oh boy. That's not good. Okay, he's telling the pilot. Alright. What you see here is a not properly closed fuel filler cap, which might have cost the job of the refueling guy at that airport. Yeah, it happens. He didn't. Maybe there was a seal broken, whatever, and it's not working properly. But what is also great to show actually here is that there's so much suction above the wing that it actually is sucking the fuel out of the tank. That is a nice little showcase here. So then this concerned passenger, in all regards, then went up to the pilots and let them know that something was leaking out of the wing. I guess they were pretty lucky that day because, first of all, it was a day flight that you can actually see it. During the night, this would be far much more difficult. Okay, the model airplane section. Yes, nice A330 by Air Berlin. I think actual jet engines here, small little jet engines. Yay! Yay! No, 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 no. Oh, no. Yeah, that's $15,000. Gone in a second. Okay, there's one thing I immediately saw that went wrong in this video, and I think that was the primary cause for it. Let's look at it one more time. Everything seems to be going well. He's doing his takeoff. All is good. As I pause the video right here, look at the bank of this plane. No commercial aircraft with passengers on board would bank that steep. And I think that is the cause for this accident, because the more you bank, the higher or the more your stall speed will increase. And if you look a split second later, you can actually see how the plane banks even further and the nose sort of starts diving down with it, meaning that the plane had stalled in that moment over the left-hand wing, and then the plane goes into this dive, out of which it is really difficult to recover from, and he was at low altitude, meaning he didn't have any space or altitude to recover from that stall. So in my opinion, this plane crashed because it went in too far of a left-hand turn with too much bank angle, which increased the stall speed, and then the plane actually stalled over its left-hand wing, went into a deep dive, and then he had too little altitude to recover from. Really, really sad. All right, nice it's massive. It's a Junkers U-52. Beautiful. Oh, look at that plane. Okay, we're coming in for landing. What is going to happen? Ooh, a little bit high. Alright, there we go. Ooh! Mate, no! Jeez! Oh. Shit. Oh no! God. Ah, boy, I feel so bad for these remote control pilots. I mean, I do some RC flying myself, and whenever, I have a crash, I feel really bad. I mean, my models are nowhere near as expensive as this one right here, but oh my God, this is just terrible. But let's look at the video one more time. I think I already saw something that might have caused the crash. So it's coming in for landing. Everything seems nice and stabilized. Speed is okay. I think it's a tad high, it could be a little bit lower. And now he pushes it down and he initiates the flare. And as he is initiating the flare, he realized, oh my God, it's too high of a descent rate. I'm going to have to brake this flare. And he didn't brake it. He actually went up again. And that then caused this really nasty climb. And now look at the propellers. It is so surreal. I don't understand what's going on. Look at the right-hand engine, so let's say engine number 3, it's out, it's not turning anymore. And look at the one in the middle, that's not turning either. Both of the engines have stopped. And now you only have the left-hand engine running. And that probably at maximum power because the pilot wants to then perform a go-around. And what happens if you have only one engine running? On the left-hand side, you get a nasty yaw to the right. And I can't really judge by the rudder. Oh, yes, you can see the rudder here, that he's actually applying some right rudder, but the plane is already too slow, and it then goes into a nasty stall, like on the plane we've just seen before. It tips over one wing, and you cannot recover at that low altitude from that stall. So the plane just comes crashing down. It is So heartbreaking to see that. I would like to know what happened to the engines, because I highly doubt that he planned it so nicely that when he touches down that his engines then would run out of fuel. I mean, no one would do that. It just makes no sense. I don't understand why they quit. And that, I think, effectively then caused the damage, because he was underpowered. I mean, this is a massive plane, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't run really nicely on one engine. And then, yeah, he had that nasty yaw moment at full power on the left-hand engine. And then he stalled over the wing. It's terrible. Really, really bad. That's it for today. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you really enjoyed these short little 1-minute debrief videos. I personally have a lot of fun with them, and I think it's a great takeaway for you guys. If you do want to get the Fly with Captain Joe plane, click the link in the description box below. It is waiting for your order, and then it is flying to your home. And here's your checklist for today. Subscribe to my channel, check, activate the notification bell, check, follow my Instagram account, check, and perform a touch and go at my website, check. And don't forget, a good pilot is always learning. Wishing you all the best. Your Captain Joe.